Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the chapter Accounting Standards and IFRS. This is also a theoretical chapter. In this, we are going to study who prepares the accounting standards, what are the advantages, etc. So let us start with accounting standards and IFRS. Let us begin with the meaning of accounting standards. Accounting standards may be defined as written statements issued from time to time by institutions of accounting professionals specifying uniform rules or practices for drawing the financial statements. So this means that basically accounting standards are the written statements or the rules or the regulations which are issued from time to time by various institutions who are the professionals of accounting, and these statements, these standards specify the basic common rules or uniform rules and practices for preparing financial statements which are applicable universally. Definition. The definition of accounting standard as given by Kohler is accounting standards is a code of conduct imposed on accountants by custom, law or professional body. So Kohler defined that accounting standards basically are the code of conduct, are the rules, ethics which are imposed on the various accountants by custom or the law or the professional body. Now let us discuss the utility or the advantages of accounting standards. So the first advantage of accounting standard is accounting standards improve the reliability and credibility of financial statements, because if financial statements are prepared on the basis of the standards or the rules formulated by the accounting professionals, so definitely people will be having the confidence in the financial statements, they will be reliable on it, and it will give the better credibility, reputation of the business organization. The second advantage is accounting standards ensure the consistency and comparability of financial statements. So when the accounting standards are followed universally, because it is issued by the accounting professionals, therefore it ensures the consistency, because financial statements are prepared regularly on the basis of the same accounting standards, and therefore it is easier to compare the results of one year with other years or one firm with another firm. The third advantage is accounting standards help in resolving conflict of financial interest among various groups, because it follows the ethics, the code of conduct which are formulated by the accounting professionals. Therefore, it protects the interest among various groups. Then the next advantage is accounting standards significantly reduce the chances of manipulation and frauds. Basically, since these are the rules and regulations, ethics, code of conduct formulated by the accounting professionals, which all the business houses need to follow, and therefore there are very less chances that people can adapt it or people can manipulate it, since they have to follow the rules. And lastly, accounting standards are helpful to auditors. Auditors are the authorities or the people who audit or verify the books of accounts of different organizations. They basically see that whatever they cross check, that whatever the accountants are showing in the books, whether they are showing the true picture or not. So if the accounting statements are prepared according to the accounting standards, then it is easier for the auditors to check and control. So these are the advantages of accounting standards, and it can also be written as utility or usefulness of accounting standards. Now let us start with the IFRS. Basically, the accounting standards which we studied till now is basically subjective to different economies, different countries. Now we are going to study about IFRS. The full form of IFRS is International Financial Reporting Standards. It is like accounting standard, but these standards are applicable worldwide. So the term IFRS refers to the International Financial Reporting Standards issued by International Accounting Standard Board, that is IASB. International Financial Reporting Standards, that is IFRS, set common rules so that financial statements can be consistent, transparent and comparable around the world. So IFRS basically are those accounting standards which, if followed worldwide, makes the financial statements of each and every organization practicing in any of the countries, any of the economies, and makes its business results comparable, consistent and transparent. The assumptions in IFRS. It is somewhat few of the concepts are same as we have studied in the GAP chapter. So the first assumption in IFRS is going concern assumption. So it is assumed in IFRS also that the life of the business is infinite, that is, the entity or the business entity will continue to exist for an indefinite period in the future. So these are basically kind of assumptions or the concept which are applicable in IFRS. So first assumption is the going concern assumption. It assumes that a business entity continues for an indefinite period of time. The second assumption is the accrual assumption. As per this assumption, transactions are recorded on accrual basis, that is, as and when they occur, and the date of settlement is immaterial. So basically, according to this concept, IFRS states that a business needs to record all the transactions relating to current year, whether they have been incurred or received in cash or not. The third assumption is the measuring unit assumption. So measuring unit is the current purchasing power, that is the purchasing capacity. Assets are shown at the amount that would have been paid of the same asset has been acquired currently. Similarly, liabilities are shown at the amount that would be required to settle them. That means we are showing the true picture, true value of the asset and liability. And the fourth assumption is constant purchasing power assumption. So this assumption requires that the value of capital be adjusted to inflation at the end of the financial year. That means we will adjust the value of capital at the end of the financial year as per the revaluation or inflation or any changes in its values. So these were the four assumptions which are applicable in case of IFRS. The first being going concern assumption, second being accrual assumption, third measuring unit assumption, and fourth constant purchasing power assumption. Let us see the need of IFRS, the importance or the advantages. So IFRS offers you easy access to global capital market. Secondly, it offers or it is easier to make comparisons between different organizations practicing in different countries because these IFRS, these standards are followed worldwide. Then thirdly, there is an uniformity in financial reporting because every organization, be it any country, they are following the same standards. Then fourthly, lower cost of capital raised abroad. Next, true and fair valuation of assets, because according to IFRS, we follow the assumption of measuring unit. That means we show the correct value of assets and liabilities according to the changes, and therefore it shows the true and fair valuation. And lastly, it is difficult to commit fraud and manipulate the accounts because there are fixed standards already designed which have to be incurred or followed or applied in the same manner. Therefore, there are very less chances of being manipulated. Now, let us discuss the difference between IFRS and Indian GAAP, that is Indian Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. or we can also call it as Indian Accounting Standards. So this is the table which is showing the difference between Indian GAAP, or we can say Indian Accounting Standards, and IFRS. So the first column here is showing the serial number, the second column is showing the particulars, or we can say basis of distinction, the third column is showing Indian GAAP, and the fourth column is showing IFRS. So the first basis of difference is conceptual difference. So in case of Indian GAAP, Indian accounting standards are generally rule based and are less flexible in comparison to IFRS. Regulatory authorities like SEBI, ROC, RBI, RDA, IRDA, etc. play a very important role in defining rules. Whereas in IFRS, at various stages, IFRS provides scope of judgment and requires information to be presented on the basis of substance rather than rules. So this is the difference, that Indian GAAP can be adapted. It provides flexibility in a comparison is comparatively less, and the authorities like SEBI, IRDA, Reserve Bank of India, etc., they play a very important role in defining such rules. Whereas in case of IFRS, here it provides a scope for judgment, and it also requires information to be presented on the basis of substance, that means the reality, rather than merely the rules. Then second is law versus standards. So in case of Indian GAAP, law overrides standards is an accepted principle in India. Latest example is option given to the corporates regarding the treatment of foreign exchange fluctuation is in AS 11, that is Accounting Standard 11. Whereas in case of IFRS, while applying IFRS, usage by investor is kept in mind and requirement of law and management takes a back seat. So basically, Indian GAAP is quite rigid about the law to be followed, but IFRS is quite flexible enough, and when it comes to the usage of IFRS to be applied, it keeps in the mind the requirement of the investor, and the requirement of the law is a little bit kept back. The third basis of difference is fairly presented statements. So Indian GAAP has direction in true and fair presentation of financials, that is financial statements, whereas International Accounting Standards, or IFRS, allows overriding true and fair concept in extreme cases. Rather, the emphasis is on fairly presented statements. And presentation, Indian GAAP, for companies of Schedule 6 of the Companies Act 1956, defines format of balance sheet, which is now has been changed to Schedule 3rd. And in case of IFRS, IAS 1 requires the presentation of financial statement, provides guidelines and overall. So these were the differences as per between Indian GAAP and IFRS. So in case of Indian GAAP, the format for companies balance sheet is given, earlier it was given under Schedule 6 of the Companies Act 1956, but now it has been revised and it is given under Schedule 3rd of Companies Act 2013. And in case of IFRS, it is given under IAS, that is International Accounting Standard 1. Now let us discuss the procedure for implementation of IFRS. There are two alternative procedures available to a country for compliance or implementation of IFRS, namely adoption and secondly convergence. So basically, whenever any country or any economy wants to implement IFRS, it has to follow two steps as the procedure. The first step is adoption and the second step is convergence. So in the first step of adoption, it means acceptance of IFRS in its original form. In case of adoption, no change is allowed in the language or format of IFRS framed by IASB. And second step or second part is convergence. Convergence with IFRS means implementation of IFRS with modification where necessary. So any country has two options while it wants to implement IFRS. The first option or alternative is adoption. It can completely adopt the IFRS, and if it chooses to adopt it, then it cannot make any changes, any adaptation. It has to follow the IFRS as it is. But if the country chooses the step or alternative of convergence, then in that case the IFRS which it is following, it can adapt it, it can take it with certain modification as per its need wherever it is necessary. Then India and IFRS. India has decided to converge the existing Indian accounting standards according to IFRS, means modify its accounting standards in harmony with IFRS. In India, the converged accounting standards are called IND-AS, that is IND-AS, that means Indian Accounting Standards. Procedure to issue IND-AS is the same as is being followed in case of existing accounting standards. Currently, the existing accounting standards are issued by the ICAI, that is the Institute for Chartered Accountants of India. The Accounting Standard Board ASB of India has already issued the exposure drafts on all the converged standards equivalent to IFRS. These standards are first approved by the Council of Indian Institute of Chartered Accountants and then sent to National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards for their approval. So this is the procedure. Basically, it is same as existing accounting standards. The Accounting Standard Board, which is ASB of India, it has already issued the exposure drafts of all the converged standards, and basically these standards are first of all approved by the Institute of Chartered Accountants and then it is sent to National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards for their final approval. Then NACS recommends these standards to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and on their final approval the standards are notified in the official gazette. So there are basically three types of approval. The first is done by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, then NACS, and then Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has notified that converged accounting standards or IND-AS shall be applied to the companies of financial year 2015-16 voluntarily and from 16-17 on a mandatory basis. That is, after the IFRS was converged in India, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs had accepted it and it had allowed it for the companies of two different financial years. The companies for financial year 2015-16, it was made voluntary. That means it was dependent on the companies whether to follow it or not. But afterwards, right from 2016-17 and further, it was made compulsory for the companies to follow it. Based on international concession, the regulators will separately notify the date of implementation of converged accounting standards for the banks, insurance companies, etc. Standards for the computation of tax would be notified separately. So these are the areas where it has to be, the date has to be notified separately. So this is all about accounting standards and IFRS. So I hope the topic discussed so far is clear to you, children. So this is the assignment based on such topic which we have discussed here, which you have to do in your register. You have to answer the following questions in your register. Question number 1, what are accounting standards? So basically, accounting standards are the set of rules, regulations which are formulated by the accounting professionals and are applicable to all the companies or business organizations in a country. Then state 4 advantages of accounting standards. We have discussed, you can write any 4 that for example it is helpful to the auditors, then it provides consistency, it provides credibility, it provides reliability, etc. Then third question, what are international financial reporting standards or IFRS? So these are the accounting standards which are followed globally, worldwide, and it also provides the consistency and comparability among the financial statements of different organizations practicing in different countries. Question number 4. Give any 4 differences between IFRS and Indian GAAP. So these are the differences which you can write as an answer. And the last question is, state the assumptions in IFRS. The 4 assumptions are going concern assumption, accrual assumption, measuring unit assumption, and constant purchasing power assumption. So you can explain these assumptions in very short, in very brief. Go through the video once again, children, revise the topics so discussed, complete all the written work, and do the learning part as well. Thank you, children. Take care.